This summer, you could come alive again. My new book is almost here. Peace is more expensive than lobster, a wake-up call with lipstick. And over the next 7 weeks, I want to take you on the journey with me. On Tuesday is a special wake-up call with lipstick podcast inspired by one of the chapters of the book. Wednesday at noon, we gather together for conversation, co-working, and encouragement. Throughout the week, we'll keep the discussion going in Pink Lady Posse, pull a few friction cards, and share surprises along the way. Then on Saturday morning, we come together for Think Pink. I'd love to spend a summer with you. Let's go. I'm Sandy Parker Martinez with the Pink Lady Posse podcast that is going to be called Wake Up Call with Lipstick between now and August when the book comes out. So happy to be here with Dharma Funder, who is an executive advisor for women, people who are in the position of needing to make a decision under pressure. Whew. So, Dharma, who is that?
Well, who is that? It is every single individual. It is the mother navigating her own life within her household and a career and her children and being a friend and being a wife. It is every single one of us. It is a teenager having to show up in school. It is the mother needing to navigate everything. And then when we're talking under pressure, just think of one situation you're going to have to make the decision as to what to make for dinner. It should be a simple decision. But because we are under so much pressure, the capacity that we have at our disposal at any given day has already been used, which makes a simple problem a complex decision.
Okay, I'm going to use a symbol we all know, which is in the book, Peace is More Expensive Than Lobster, a wake-up call with lipstick, a gas gauge. And I'm literally flying down I-35, windows down, having the best time, music going, and I happened to look and my gas gauge went on. And I went wobbly. Oh, wait, am I the only 70-year-old woman in the world that doesn't know you've got to get gas before you go on a trip? Oh my gosh. And it was like, it immediately affected me. I want to say it was sort of self-criticism, but it was actually more dangerous than that. It was like, oh gosh. And then I looked at it again. I thought, I wonder how many miles I have. Well, I've got plenty of gas. So I settled myself back down and I thought, it's just a signal. That gas gauge does not think I'm a bad driver. The gas gauge is just a symbol, but I made it mean something about me.
Absolutely.
And I don't think I'm the only person in the world.
No, you're not.
So you were mentioning times when you see people where there's a symbol and they make it mean something about them. Can you give me an example or two or three or 10?
Oh, I can get it. Well, because we can all relate to the gas gauge, I really want to use that because we all know what that means. I need to get gas. And the gas gauge is actually telling you the truth. It's
Right.
low and you need to get gas. That is the entire message. Everything after that is a narrative, a story. How am I this careless? What's wrong with me? Is not the gauge, because the gauge is still saying the same thing.
You just need gas.
Exactly. It is a story that I start to stack up on top of that signal, that information that I am receiving. And the gauge costs nothing. But the story, to your point, is starting to cost our capacity. And that's the pattern I see every single capable person do under load. And that is the signal is in of itself neutral and really cheap. It's just information. But the story and the narrative, the self-referential, this is the high performance that we rarely get in trouble from the bad signal.
Mhm.
We get in trouble because we convey every single into something it is not. It becomes a verdict, and then the snowball just starts.
Yeah, now
So it's
in the book, I use the example of beliefs we've inherited.
yes,
Like we got them from somewhere, they're out of us, but now we're carrying them along with us.
yes,
And those are part of the story that we carry that affect us in our capacity. Yes.
yes. That's
So
part of the capacity operating system, which is the foundation of everything that falls into what it is that I do. Because the signal loss, which is, it's my book is called Signal Loss, and I'm describing these entire steps of what is actually happening. Why are we losing our path or our focus? Because we are distracted by whatever is already in our operating system, because it's already installed, it's
I see.
already there. The narrative is firing before we are even aware of it. The story has already been drafted before we even become aware of it. And every single client I work with all say the same thing. What is the one thing they all misread? And it's the silence. It is this delayed reply. It's it's when our client or when we go quiet. It's the boss that didn't reply immediately to your deck. It is the feedback you didn't receive immediately. It's the response that came later than you wanted it, especially in today's world. We want immediate information.
Right.
Waiting for anything is almost unheard of. So that signal, the silence, the delayed reply, that is something that has their attention
Let me ask,
immediately.
let me ask you this because now my brain is working on what you just said, and that is like if I'm speaking, and there's silence, I sort of fill it full with what that means, right?
Yes,
So I
yes,
go, oh my gosh, what are they, like silence is what you're saying. It's almost like a friction revealer.
yes, it is.
Huh.
Because we start to fill the silence because we interpret the silence not as something that is neutral, but we automatically take this ambiguous data by default to have a story about us.
Hmm.
So even though it may be neutral information, we start to protect ourselves. And that is what I call signal loss.
In the book, the point I'm making is a simple point. It's not fixing you. It's not altering your self, your history, your past, your future. It's like seeing what you don't see. So you have choice in how you want to act. So I'll give you an example. I have a real healthy case of perfection friction, right? And I've
Yeah.
worked on a document for 6 rounds now. And this morning I saw the slightest graphic hiccup. No one would see. But for me to leave it alone,
Yeah.
it is like, and I don't know. I don't know when I'm in it that I'm in it. Like, right, I said, oh my gosh, look, there's that perfection friction. And when I come to know it and see it, now I have a choice. Do I go one more round with that document or is it fine? But until I see it, I'm at the effect of it. I'm in the running of the automatic with it, right? So
Yes.
seeing it gives you a great advantage. Yeah.
It depends on how we choose to respond to it.
Okay.
Because when we're in it, the narrative is already running.
Hmm.
And we often, especially when we're talking about perfection, we want to make sure that we get it right. Who gave you the norm of what is supposed to be correct? It
What's
is
perfection anyway? Who even
ex
knows?
exactly. So it is a matter of, oh, I am dropping the ball, or I didn't do it fast enough. I didn't do it well enough. I am not good enough. And if that is what I am putting out there, then this is going to be. So we're already in the
Hmm.
situation of explaining ourselves. So the entire framework that I am using when we are talking about when am I actually in a space of clear capacity? When am I able to make the decision that I am supposed to be making? There's so many different scenarios that I can mention to you, but there is one example I'm sure we can all relate is that I have a project, you have a book that you need to get ready, and you have a few people that you may delegate certain things to. You get to the deadline and you're reaching out to this individual, did you get it done? And they're saying, no, I didn't get to it. Now, see how you're reacting. It is not good. It is not good.
That is not good.
That is not good. Now, how are you going to respond to that? You now have, because only you can make this decision, only you already know what the right decision is. In the moment when it happens, you already have the different options available to you. You still have the capacity, the insight, the knowledge. You're still in touch with what it is that you should decide. The decision is clear. And when we pause, that is when we start to move ourselves into other options. This person, you asked them, you hired them, you vetted them, you gave them your check mark. So when we start to question whether or not they delivered or not, we automatically start judging ourselves based on their performance.
So true.
And that is signal loss.
You know,
In that moment, you are losing yourself. When we go to work and we are getting bombarded with all of these informations, how many of you do go in? Oh, I shouldn't be doing that. Oh, I need to do this. Oh, there may be. And we start to shift ourselves to fit into the background.
mm,
And again, we are starting to override our own signal. That is when we start to dismiss what we initially thought we wanted to do.
mhm.
I shouldn't have hired you. You didn't follow through. You didn't do what I asked you to do. Well, you can reflect it back on me. Did you give me the right information? You should have told me that you weren't able to deliver. You see how I am just standing my ground in my own authority and saying, you should have told me.
Yeah, there's something that I refer to in the book as our say. When my mother said, because I said so, I didn't ask her if she was sure, right?
Yes,
Say is our center, our alignment, our knowing, or whatever, you know. So what I say is detect the drag, return to your say. And I can tell you that if I'm talking, 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 and somebody gives me a weird look, even like mm, they might have indigestion,
Yes.
but I make it mean something. Which was, did I say that right? We so
Hmm.
often take a signal and make it mean something about us as the way we respond. And that is a devastating way to operate.
But that is what most of us do because it's easier. It's easier for me to go home and evaluate and change myself than it is for me to actually have a deeper look at, what did I actually respond to? If that face made me feel insecure, I should actually have a deeper look at myself and
Hmm.
I should trust what it is that I am saying. To your point, your mom would say, end of discussion. Do as I
Simple.
say. It's a full sentence. When we start second guessing and explaining and justifying our answer, we are losing the authority because we're already justifying a decision we were not in alignment with.
Beautiful. Well, what I love about using the science of friction. What if this summer you could come alive again? My new book is almost here. Peace is more expensive than lobster, a wake up call with lipstick. And over the next 7 weeks, I want to take you on the journey with me. On Tuesday is a special wake up call with lipstick podcast inspired by one of the chapters of the book. Wednesday at noon, we gather together for conversation, co-working, and encouragement. Throughout the week, we'll keep the discussion going in Pink Lady Posse, pull a few friction cards, and share surprises along the way. Then on Saturday morning, we come together for Think Pink. I'd love to spend a summer with you. Let's go. Well, what I love about using the science of friction with human behavior, I can understand a rail car on a rail track runs over an external item and it puts it a little out of alignment or it makes it a little wobbly. I don't feel critical about the rail car. It's
No.
like it's a natural thing. But if I'm going along, and I read an email and I go, ugh, and it derails me, it's become emotional instead of a signal. So, what I'm really trying to do is just give us the chance to give some space between automatic reactions by recognizing there are curbs. We just run over them. They're not us. There are wobbles. That's what happens in us, second guessing or self criticism. And then there are grinders, which are those things that seem small at the time, but over time really grind us down, like not saying what we think and not saying what we think and not saying what we think. And then we go, nobody wants to hear what I have to say. And it wasn't that really at all.
Yeah. Now you're just going to have to make sure that you let it go.
Okay, now those are some great words. How do you do that?
That's that is it is an internal realignment because
Exactly.
it is easier for us to hold on to the story and hold on to the narrative because it's easier and it's making us feel better.
Oh my gosh, I cannot tell you a story about that. I just have to. I went totally unexpected that I would think of this, but I went on a vacation and I got an inexpensive hotel room because I was only going to be there for 3 days and then the bed and breakfast would be great. The minute I walked in, I smelled smoke.
Mm.
And I'm like, ugh, I cannot do this. Well, I bought it on one of those packages that are non-refundable. So I went to the guy and I said, this is not acceptable. I went to the company that booked it and I said, this is not acceptable. I got so caught up in whose fault it is. I could not make myself move to, well, what's the next best step for me?
Mhm.
I was so caught up And who's to blame? How terrible this is. I'm not going to deal with that. And my husband goes, well, what's the next best thing for you? And then let's figure that out later. I'm like, figure it out later. There's no way. I had
Yep.
the hardest time letting it go.
Because in that moment, it's under pressure.
Oh
It's in
man.
the moment. It's the signal is walking in. It smells like smoke. I can't do that. And then it becomes about them. All of a sudden, instead of, okay, what is the cost of honoring ourselves in that moment? You have a non-refundable hotel, which means if you can't have the smoke that is not for you, then what is the cost?
Great question. Well, what it was, the cost was I got sick. And then my husband goes, are you sure you don't want to get another place? And I'm like, it was really hard for me to move over two options when I was stuck in that spot.
Yeah, because we start to feel guilty. We start to feel that it is our fault that we are sensitive. We start to feel that there's something wrong with me. I should be okay with the background that they have put together because it works for everybody else. So, how dare I question their service? And that's what we all do. In the moment, we are starting to do the negotiation. Oh, can I do this? Should I do that? And that's the narrative. And that's under pressure. Then how do you end up making the right decision in that moment? Because
Well,
we're already on the rails. The train is going 140 miles an hour. And how are you going to slow it down?
yeah,
And
that,
that's where I come in and I will pull the brakes, literally pull the brakes. I tell my clients when they're in that, I say, okay, I want you to get off, pull the brakes and come to a complete stop. Yeah, but I'm going to lose out. I'm not going to be, I said, no, you're not going to miss anything. But if you keep going, you're going to lose it. That's
and
signal loss. It is not catching up. It is not the momentum. It is the performance. We need to perform. We need to fit in and we need to be approved, but you're losing yourself. So, what's more important, you or them?
that is
And
so beautiful, Dharma. It's like the whole point. And I had a text string I would send out one a day. And the first one was, there's nothing wrong with you. Just let that settle in.
yeah,
I had people actually resisting the message that nothing's wrong with them. Like we are operating like we're broken. We need to be fixed. We need to be altered. Really, we're okay.
yeah. The thing is, to let it go, we need to allow the signal to be just the information.
Beautiful.
Because the story is the one that will come to start ruling us, interpret us. It is the gauge that you were talking about. It gave you a reading. You issued the story and the ruling.
Absolutely. Well, I am so excited to be talking to you because I know your role with people is so valuable. And
Thank you.
I know all I want to do, not all I want to do, I don't want to diminish myself. I want to plant a seed of nothing's wrong with us. Look at the signals,
Yes.
be able to identify, especially the ones that become a pattern that can be recognizable. If we see it, we have options. If we don't, we don't. And then and stop waiting for the time when we're perfect or all put together before we go have life, because I'm 70. This is my legacy. I got to do a TED talk, TEDx talk, and my daughters got to come. And it was
Good.
like, you know what? being here with them is already the legacy I wanted to leave by living my life my way. That's what I
And
want
that,
for them.
well, it's the self-blame first because it is immediate and it feels that we are in control. Saying that I am the problem, I can fix that. I said that earlier. I can fix that tonight. That's not the issue. The system is the challenge. That is what we have to sit with. It's to honor the pause, honor the delay. It's it's one of those when I sit with certain when I work in my cohort, I said, okay, I want you all to just park the car. I just want you to pull over to the side and just park the car. Just visualize we all drive. And I want you to just kind of sit in the driver's seat and think, okay, I have somebody next to me and I have somebody in the back as well. How many times have we had somebody sitting next to us and trying to be the co-pilot? That's the noise. That's the one that keeps giving us, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. And I said, okay, let me just pause. And then start the windshield wipers and keep the windshield wipers going until you can actually see clearly.
Great.
That's when the answer will come to you and you will know it's the right answer for you. It is tuning out the noise, closing up behind, and just wait. That's the pause. That's where you live. That's where the capacity stays. Because when we spend it on interpreting all the stuff behind us and around us, we're just exhausted and overwhelmed. And we just kind of want to stop.
No
And
kidding.
that's where the decision quality actually drops. So the self-awareness, the the internal adjustment to see whatever is being communicated, clearing the noise and starting with the pure data, just the gauge is low.
That is so great.
With it and sit with it. And that's where you will find a way to let it go. That's the most dangerous thing people ever need to sit in because we're expected to perform immediately. So when I pause, remember what I was saying earlier? When I pause, people think I did something wrong. You were saying is that okay, when somebody's pausing, it's like, okay, I gotta fill the gap because it makes us uncomfortable.
I love honor the pause. I think that's where your say lives. When you have a choice to, to know what you want and return to your say. It's so easy to give it away to
Yeah.
everything.
Yep.
So, Dharma, I've been wanting to have this conversation with you for a long time, and I'm so happy. You know what? We ran into curbs, we ran into wobbles. Like even the Zoom link was difficult. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? It was
Exactly.
a Zoom link. It wasn't me.
Exactly. It was simply a signal and us staying because I remember it's like, okay, what are the ways I can communicate? And I pulled everything up and I put it out. And then I just waited. And that's the hard part because when you see the time running, oh, I'm running late. What is she going to think about me? Oh, she's not going to think I'm going to show up. And then I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm here. I know she's there. You just need to connect. And that's the true signal. But the loss comes into when it starts to run. So, yes,
Yeah, well, I appreciate you so much. Thanks for being
thank you.
here. And in the show notes will be how to get in contact with you if anybody wants a executive advisor to help you make decisions under pressure.
Yes,
Dharma, thank you so much for
thank
being
you.
here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thanks for tuning in to Pink Lady Posse Podcast, where women go from what now to what's next. Come join us at pinkladyposse.com, where we share community, resources, and tools to support your next beautiful chapter. With love, light, and a little lipstick. See you next time.